Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another athlete interview on our series. And I'm so excited to have Lila Lapanja on here with me today. She actually just returned back from an incredible season out in Europe. So it'll be super fun to talk to her a little bit about how that year went, how COVID impacted, and what she has moving forward. So, Lila, thanks so much for coming on.
Absolutely, Parker. It's a pleasure.
And so, just the easy questions to get started. How old are you? Where are you from? And what's your favorite event?
I am 26 years young and I'm from Lake Tahoe, Nevada, on the Nevada side. And my favorite event, well, it's hard to say. I always say that it's a three-way tie between all the slaloms, which would be slalom, GS, and Super G. But GS seems to come on top pretty consistently, even though I race mostly slalom. But
I like how that plays out. I love a good GS fan. So now we'll get into some of this year's questions. So COVID has been the topic of almost every conversation because it really has affected skiers everywhere. How was COVID for you out in Europe, and what did it really do to affect your season? And as a majority, some people said it was a huge negative, but did you take out any positives from this experience with COVID?
yeah, COVID. Well, racing the full World Cup circuit, it was interesting navigating the COVID because we had what was called this FIS passport, which was this online portal where we had to fill in our whereabouts 2 weeks leading into a ski race, a World Cup race, and we had to submit all of our PCR and antigen tests. And I really had to stay on top of that. I mean, I was responsible for finding all of the testing sites and paying for the tests. It was really expensive and sometimes really tough to find these places to test when you're on the road. So for me, I just went into the season knowing that it was going to be different and kind of accepting the chaos that COVID might bring. And I didn't really see it too negatively. You kind of just accepted it for what it was and you just did the drill. You found your test, you did your tests. You just, because the whole point was to be able to race, and so you followed the protocols as well as you could. But I really saw it more positively, actually, because one, you appreciated the opportunities that you had more, because it was a gift to be able to race and to be able to be in Europe traveling for 4.5 months, as hard as that can be. It was a gift to be able to do that amidst this whole COVID pandemic. So it for me, it was mostly positive, and luckily, knock on wood, I was able to avoid getting it. But and that pressure was always there. Like, you never quite knew what your test result was going to be, but you just had to surrender. And so that was kind of freeing in itself, knowing that you didn't really have control over it and you just had to let it play out.
Well, you had a really positive outlook on it. And I think that that's really admirable. And to be able to take the situation for what it is, learn how to adapt, and then really just be grateful is really spectacular. You mentioned, though, a lot of it was finding stuff on your own. And for anybody that doesn't know you, you have spent time on the US ski team, off the US ski team, and now we're fighting for World Cup spots that you've earned as an independent athlete. What does that mean as you move forward through this season and as you move towards your future?
Yeah, I mean, racing independently as a US athlete at this level is very challenging. Again, there's always a pro and con to that. Um, I'm responsible for everything. So the organization, the logistics, my equipment, my physical conditioning, I've had to really step up and take ownership for all of that stuff and find things that work for me. And in many ways, it's positive because it teaches you what you really need and want as an athlete in your career. Because at the end of the day, this is your career. This is my career. No one can really take that away from us. So you want to do it the best you can in your way. But the cons is it's really tough to find reliable training opportunities and to have some pace, some training partners. And the logistics is not something that you really want to be thinking about as an athlete when you're in the starting gate. So yeah, just going to continue to navigate that and stay really positive and work with the team when I can and keep all of my options open, because I know what it takes to be at the World Cup level, and you have to have a really healthy blend of that national governing body support and your individual outlook on what you want for your career.
Yeah, it seems like people I've talked to who are navigating the independent athlete on the World Cup stage really find this deep connection with themselves, learn things about themselves that they really never knew before, and things that they might have not noticed that could help them perform at the highest level. Have you found that that's been the same for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's almost one of those things where I don't know if it's a sustainable way to race at this level, but I also wouldn't trade what it's taught me to not have experienced it to this point. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm at that point where I'm thinking, okay, I learned the lessons, I know what I want to do. Now let's ski faster and make it easier.
Well, I like that outlook. And as we move towards the end of the season, like I said, you're back in the US now, you've been traveling in Europe. So we have US nationals on the forefront. What is your plan moving into Aspen? I know it's in the middle of April. How are you preparing to get ready for that? And what do you want to accomplish there?
Yeah, so I'm home now. I'm taking about a week and a half off, just kind of deloading Europe from 4.5 months on the road. Um, we are going to start training next week at North Star. They've given me the opportunity to train there, and I'm really excited to connect with that team. They're giving me a hill to be able to prep with slalom, GS, do some Super G free skiing. And I will be racing the Super G at US Nationals. That's always a very important part of my program, to keep a little bit of that speed factor in there. I always tell people that it helps my slalom. Um, and so, yeah, I'm going to be training at home for the next week. There's actually spring series out in Squaw the week before US Nats. So I was thinking of maybe going and doing those Super G races and a GS race as well there before I drive out to Colorado. And then, yeah, just come into US Nationals and really enjoy it, really have fun, get some Super G in, get a Super Combined in, race the GS, race the slalom, and then that will be it for the race season.
That's awesome. And at the Sync Performance community, we are all supporting you, and we're super excited to continue to watch you on your path to your success and your dreams. And so we're super grateful to have you on here today, and good luck at Aspen, and we'll all be cheering.
Thank you, Parker. I'll be sporting the new Sync suit out in Aspen. So, yeah, Sync has been phenomenal with support this year, and I've really enjoyed wearing the product. It's so comfortable and it's so perfect for what we do. You just really know that it's tailored for us as athletes. So it's great to have the company supporting me and having my back on the road. And it's a great community. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, we're lucky to have you, and we're grateful, and we're all in support as we move towards this next part of your career. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. See you at US Nats.